Texas Longhorn style. Texas getting ready to take on the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks. I'm Bobby Burton, joined by Jerry Hamilton. This episode of On Texas Football brought to you by our game day partners, Hargrove Roofing. Know who's on your roof. Flat Creek Wine Garden and Estates, as well as South Point Ram Dodge. Those guys over there do a great job with their friends. How you doing today, Jerry? You ready for this?
I am. I got a challenge for the Texas offense. Score more than James Madison did on Mac Brown today.
What was the final on that? 70 to
50?
70 to 50. Mac Brown took it on the chin. I tell you what, Texas's next opponent, Mississippi State, also took it on the chin today, losing to a Florida team that did not have a great defense. Mississippi State actually had some success running the ball, but Mississippi State quarterback Blake Shapen went down late in the fourth quarter in that game and did not return. They played a true freshman in his place who scored one touchdown, led the offense pretty good, but he is not an accurate passer. So keep that in mind when they come to town to Austin next week. Right now, Michigan up 7-0 over USC early in that game. Long run for the Wolverines, contributing to that. But the Michigan defense looks like it's stifling USC for right now.
Yeah, I can't see it from my peripheral. I don't have Magic Johnson peripheral. But the Mississippi State-Florida game, offensive lines were subpar both games. Florida did not do a great job in the portal in the OL. But Mississippi State really struggled on the offensive line. I mean, that was two teams. What are they going to combine for? 7 wins this year, maybe 8?
Not the great look.
Subpar offensive lines.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'll add this, Jerry. We're also monitoring the Arkansas-Auburn game. Of course, Texas plays Arkansas later. Oklahoma and Tennessee, they don't get started till about 6:30 tonight. Texas, of course, kicks off at 7 o'clock. People are asking about where Texas is on TV. If you haven't heard, I'm sure most people on this broadcast have definitely heard. Texas is on ESPN Plus, which is going to require a subscription of sorts for people to take part in that. So we'll see how that goes. But there was one person up here early on in this chat that said this could be, here it is. Buddy Powell, Chief Big Guy, has a great comment. This will be the single largest subscriber day in ESPN Plus history. Jerry, why is that? Not only is it the number one team in the nation starting off here, it's also Arch Manning debut.
It is?
It is? Yeah, you understand that?
I was wondering why I was here.
I had a friend over here, Mr. Goose, say a little bit earlier, what are they doing? Why are they putting it in on ESPN Plus? And then he actually said, I know why. They want those subscribers.
That's why they didn't move it over to the SEC Network. Obviously, they had the games locked in.
Yeah.
But kind of bad luck for ESPN. They didn't know Texas would be 1 and Arch Manning would be starting. Ashley's asking about the weather. I will say this. I'm not sure there's any dry parts of my body left at this point. But I've been walking around the stadium for an hour.
Yeah, look, we had one surprise visitor at least. You just talked to him on the phone. I heard you talking with him. Malcolm Simpson, defensive tackle, originally from Galveston Ball, but transferred up to Hitchcock. You saw him play on Thursday night with a teammate of Kelshawn Johnson.
Teammate of Kelshawn Johnson, but grew up with Jonah Williams. And Texas has been talking to him. I think the interest is as much on their side, Malcolm Simpson's side, as it is on Texas side. They're watching a bunch of guys. I think we know who their top targets are. But Texas is considering taking 5 defensive linemen in this class. But it's kind of a delicate situation there from going from 4 to 5 on the defensive line when those spots start to hit because they have 2 right now. We talked – Chris Stewart, commitment's on his way up here from Shadow Creek as well.
That's the wide receiver you saw earlier this week.
Yeah, from Shadow Creek, committed to Texas. He's coming up with his family. I talked to Myron Charles this morning. He's actually coming in for the Georgia game now. I think a lot of guys are bumping back to Georgia that can from Mississippi State. Not all, just a few. Like Chase Sims, the A&M commitment. He'll be in next weekend. Walter Mathis from Savannah, Calvary Day, committed to LSU Country Calvary Day. He's scheduled to be in next weekend as well.
You look at all of it across the board, Jerry, recruiting going really well. You talked to some other guys that are going to be over there. We'll talk a little bit more about recruiting later today. Look, also want to say this. Thanks also to Duck Camp. You see this hat in the middle here. Later today, we're going to be giving away a $200 gift certificate. If you stop by our tailgate here over on the LBJ lawn, $200 gift certificate to Duck Camp, good friends of ours, as well as a free hat. This hat, in fact, has that other heathered clay. So come on over, put your name in the hat. You have to put your name on the list for the drawing. You have to be here for the drawing to actually win it. We'll go from there and make sure everybody goes. Also, you need the location of the tailgate right now. Make sure you get it. Matt, our producer, has put it on the chat line, so it should be there. Jerry, we talked about this morning when we were over there at DKR and right next to the stadium, and it was kind of fun. Angela Kelly, the soccer coach, rolled by. She's 7-0-2 right now this season. She's undefeated. We saw 20 different swimmers walk by. A couple of them set with the shirts that were in burnt orange. One of the coolest shirts I've seen, and it was just basically burnt orange and had a Longhorn, and then the subtext was Olympian. Yeah. That was really a cool T-shirt. I want one of those.
Those are probably limited edition.
Those are probably very limited edition for sure. But Jerry, we talked a little bit about everything except for UL Monroe in this segment so far on Texas football. What do you think about the Warhawks? Do they bring anything that Texas fans need to worry about today? What do you think?
Mouthy defensive coordinator is what they bring.
That's a check.
Look, they're better defensively than UTSA is, in my opinion.
Okay.
But they're like Michigan, light, meaning they're not going to beat you over the top at wide receiver. So if you stifle them on first down in the run game, they have issues. They don't want to throw it against you. They've thrown attempted three passes over 10 yards this year. That was a C.J. Vogel stat. Mr. Stats for On Texas Football. He said that earlier in the week. So if Texas stifles them on first down in the run game, UL Monroe has issues. I'm very interested to see how UL Monroe plays Texas defensively, though, Bobby, because teams have respected the speed of Texas greatly this year. That doesn't mean teams haven't brought blitz back. This week, Martindale certainly did. UTSA did at times. But there's been a respect paid to the speed of the Texas offense. Now Arch Manning's starting his first game tonight. UL Monroe has better pass rushers than UTSA. They may have a pro pass rusher. So do they take some chances earlier in this game, Bobby, and play a little more man coverage, take some chances versus playing off and keeping everything in a cloud? I'm interested to see what UL Monroe does. They've had a week off to prepare for Texas, so they're fresh legs coming off their win over UAB. They have confidence, but how are they going to play Texas defensively? How aggressive are they going to get early against Arch?
Yeah, they have to. We talked about this on the way over here this afternoon, Jerry, you and I. If you're a ULM, what is the recipe for a big upset?
Knock out a quarterback.
Knock out your second string quarterback and put it on the shoulders of a third string quarterback, and you only have two healthy running backs. And basically, we think two right now, right? With not only with Jarrett Gibson, but also either Trey Wisner or Jaden Blue. I think that Trey Wisner may be the one that sits out today rather than Jaden Blue.
Yeah.
And so my point being, we'll have to see exactly what transpires, but I think they're gonna try to heat up Arch early and often, see if they can goad him into some freshman mistakes. I'm sure is ready for that, and it's coached him on this. But that's the recipe for them. No doubt. We looked at their stats earlier today too, and talked about that in the pregame. They are passing a pass run team, 75% run team right now, 80 plus attempts, 89 attempts running the ball in their two games versus 31 passing. Just unbelievably one-sided, in my opinion, for them right now, Jerry. Something that we have to be aware of as Texas goes into this game, because that means they're going to try to run the ball against Longhorns. Longhorns took Michigan out of that game plan. UTSA didn't really stick to it. They tried to be a multiple team it's going to be interesting to see what does or doesn't work against this Texas defense. Because I will say this, I think the Texas defense is really good about making teams one-dimensional.
Yeah.
And if they Texas and Johnny Nansen as well as Pete Kwiatkowski are able to take the run away from Louisiana Monroe, I don't have much trust in General Booty as a passer. Only attempted 3 passes this year beyond 10 yards. Almost a ridiculous level of passing.
I know they were in control of the UAB game because UAB had 3 turnovers. But you only attempt 15 passes a game because you only want to attempt 15 passes a game. Bottom line, if they had more confidence in their passing game or their offensive line to pass protect, they would be attempting more passes. Nobody wants a 31 pass, 89 rush differential 2 games into the season unless you feel like you have to.
All right, guys, come on over to the tailgate. If you're walking to the stadium right now or hanging out, or if you're watching online, we just appreciate you guys joining us. We're going to get to some of y'all's questions. We've already talked about one surprise visitor today, Malcolm Simpson, defensive lineman out of Hitchcock, who's, I believe, Jerry, currently committed to Texas Tech, correct? Nebraska. Okay, so that is one for him. Look, we are also asking other questions that you guys might have in the chat. David Parcell has a recruiting question as we sit here and look at some football games, talk a little Longhorn sports. Here's one. How fast is Chris Stewart, in your opinion, compared to Jamie French and Kalik Lockett? Neither French nor Lockett are known for their speed, but are certainly fast
with the football. Yeah. I think Chris Stewart may be a 10-7 100-meter guy this spring. So I would say it's more like DeAndre Moore with more acceleration.
That would be good. That'd be good. I like that. Lockett and French also involved as well. CJ Vogel will be joining us here in a little bit. He's doing a little man on the street for us, walking around, having a little fun. He is also over there looking for some recruits as well as they show up, etc. We will see how that all goes and see what we can get when he's available. Let's bring him in now. Matt, our producer, if you don't mind bringing in CJ. There he is. CJ Vogel, that looks like PKR right there, baby. Where are you at?
Yes, sir. Look at that. We're on scene here, Bobby. 3 hours away till kickoff. Vivo Boulevard already filled up. Look at this. 3 hours till kickoff. The folks are still around, having a good time over here. I'm not in a good spot, but it's filling in very nicely right now.
Hey, CJ, I'm seeing more Arch Manning shirts and jerseys this week than prior. Are you?
I'm seeing plenty of them so far, Jerry. And the one thing I saw
walking around.
ULM defensive coordinator. You're not wanting to see a whole lot of them tonight.
All right. Hey, CJ, you're over there with a bunch of folks and seeing the festivities go on. 3.5 hours to kick off. We just talked about the lack of the ULM offense and the fact that they are a 75-25 run-pass split. Anything that catches your eye or your thoughts in that regard before we head into this show, or head into this game?
Yeah, I think the one thing for me is Texas has been very good at maintaining gap integrity. They've been very good at not allowing the busted plays so far this year defensively. Of course, the one touchdown a week ago was the result of a bust. You want to see that front seven continue to play sound gap assignment football, and they're going to be tested again. I know it's not a Michigan, it's not a Georgia. You're not going to see that talent in the trenches, but you will see repeated run after repeated run after repeated run, and that's going to be a big test for the Longhorns tonight.
Hey, CJ, you've been on Bevo Boulevard first 2 games of the year. More people here earlier this week. It feels like it to me.
Yeah, I would say so. You know, again, we're 3 hours away till kickoff, and I'm walking down Bevo Boulevard. I was driving through the city earlier. Traffic's crazy. The people are out. They're excited. They're looking forward to just being around the atmosphere. And, you know, Texas has done a great job of promoting, hey, right now they're the #1 team in the country. that's a great thing to have a lot of people excited about, clearly, and it's showing off at the moment. And folks are out here, they're buzzing. I know it's ULM, but you wouldn't have that feel if you didn't look at the schedule and know who was in town to face the Longhorns this evening.
Hey, CJ, just to update you, Michigan 7, USC nothing, second quarter. USC has 14 yards offense.
Wow, which team has the quarterback issue? I wouldn't have known.
There's a lot of jokes that could be made right now about Michigan's quarterback, but I'll stay away from all of them.
Jerry, and the last name there, connection. Thanks, Alex. What's his last name, Jerry? Do not say it on air. All right, hey, CJ.
All I know is he's going off.
Hey, guys, in all seriousness, CJ, you said there's more people out there. It is a little bit later game this week. That's probably part of it. There is some cloud cover right now if you're coming out and headed into Austin from either Houston or Dallas, San Antonio, whichever way you're coming from. There is some cloud cover in Austin, making it a little bit cooler, making it a little bit easier to deal with. Hopefully that stays for the game and it cools down at least into the low 90s. It's expected to be 97 at kickoff. Look, Todd Lacey, he said, keep Arch upright and healthy. Isn't that maybe key number one to this game? I mean, Texas cannot go to their third string quarterback until at least after the game maybe is out of hand or out of reach.
Yeah, well, I think that's huge in this game. Obviously, any game, but you're down to two scholarship quarterbacks. I think pass protection's the biggest thing for Texas offense tonight. I said that this morning. Anytime you have a first-time starting quarterback, I don't care what his last name is. Pass protection is paramount, especially against the team that does get after the passers. CJ, UL Monroe has about 20 quarterback pressures in 2 games.
Yeah, they get after the quarterback. Obviously, pulling their defensive ends, their best prospect right now. He has 4 sacks on the season. You're going to want to keep, a Kelvin Banks, a Trevor Groosby, a Brandon Baker, a Cam Williams. Those guys have to protect the quarterback today. And, ULM, despite, maybe the talent level that we expect them to have, they got some guys to get after the quarterback, that's for sure.
All right, CJ, we're going to go ahead and let you go, buddy. I appreciate you. Look at that crowd behind you. Longhorns really looking good right now with the support of the fans. Absolutely. We appreciate you, CJ. You have a good one, buddy. All right, I'll see you post-game and during the game a little bit as well.
This is the most important comment today.
Which one?
Hold on. It's not pulling.
Hats will be available for purchase soon?
Yes.
Do not Venmo me. Kidding about that part.
No, bring that up. Bring up Jenny's comment.
I have.
There you
What's
go.
up? Yeah. Do not Venmo me. We are going to have these hats for sale later this week, or actually early next week. Please look forward to that. We appreciate you guys and any support you can give on Texas football. The tailgate right now, we got the free beer coming out from Flight, our friends over at Yingling and Faust Distributing participating in that. We also have Devil's River Alcohol. That's another one. That's a cinnamon whiskey, I think, as well as a level of what is that, Jerry? Looks like tacos with some chili con queso out here as well. Thanks to the Surly Horns as well for providing that. Jerry, I'm looking at this. JB is asking, do we know if Blue will play yet? JB, here's what we do know about that. Jaden Blue went on Instagram Live last night at some time, probably from the team hotel, and posted that he was playing. I will add this about that situation. Jaden doesn't make that decision. So I don't know if Jaden has been told to be ready or if he's actually suiting up yet. CJ will be going into the into DKR here in a little bit, and we may be able to pass that news along to you sooner rather than later and let y'all know if it looks like Blue would be playing. We knew around 2 hours before kick last week that he would not be playing because he was in street clothes or just his jersey and shorts during warm-ups. So we will get y'all and pass that information along to you guys as soon as possible. Edward Koljecki asked the same question. When will we know the starting lineups? Edward, it's usually posted 2.5 to 3 hours before kick. And right now we're 3.5 hours before kickoff for the Longhorns. That's one of those things that we got to talk about. Guys, look, we got a lot of time to talk here, Jerry. Anything you want to bring up right now that Longhorn fans have been thinking about or talking about?
Yeah, I think for me, it's continued great communication on defense. Like, there haven't been any busts this year. And I'm not sure UL Monroe has the offense to create those busts, but I can tell you, coming off of last week, if I said, what do you want to see defensively, Texas fans? I guarantee you what the answer would be. Better run defense at the linebacker spots. And I do think against this offense, run fits are the key. If you stifle them on first down, they're going to have major issues on offense. And that's going to come down to gap sound, gap integrity, and run fits from the linebackers today. If Texas is sound on that side of the ball today in those fits, in gap integrity, I think Monroe's going to have a very difficult time moving the football. It's going to have to be busts.
Yeah, Texas has to defend the run first and foremost. As we said, 75% run team here in ULM. I tell you what, Jerry, it looks like Michigan just had a defensive touchdown, and it is now going to be 14-0. It looks like in that game. Or is that? Yes. Is that a defensive touchdown or offensive touchdown?
I can't see it.
I can't see. I'm looking over someone, and I don't have – guys, I have glasses, by the way. Hey, Jerry, I want to bring this up because we talked about this actually during recruiting, okay? Jeff Carey says Arch is the $10 million man.
Absolutely.
Okay, maybe individually, but when we were talking recruiting, we talked about how big a decision this would be. If you think of all of the things, he may individually make $10 million during his college career more through NIL. But seriously, he may. Okay, but what about the impact of that decision? You talked about it being $100 million.
$100 million recruitment.
Because whoever won was going to get that level of benefit from him.
And Rusty Manziel, who covers Georgia, friend both of ours.
Yep.
Rusty and I were talking about that during this recruitment. And we were both like, agreement. It's $100 million recruitment for the winner, the university, the winner. And I 100% believe that. I think that's how big this is. Just look at the media attention. And he hadn't even started a game yet. Think about next year when he's the starter and the year after that when he's a starter. By the way, the Manning family obviously putting out a statement through Pat McAfee, which they should, that this is not a rush process. Quinn Ewers is the starting quarterback. You don't lose your job because of injury. Arch is at Texas for at least 4 years. He's all about development. And I'm glad they put that out. So maybe that stops all the BS articles that were about to be written. Will he be a one-and-done starter in 25? Of course not. People need to learn about the Manning history. But to your point, $100 million recruitment. And I'll say this. When I say Arch is a $10 million man, I think per year in NIL.
Oh, wow.
I think per year.
Maybe eventually. He's not this year.
I think next year. The 2 starting years, 10, 12 million a year.
Wow.
It'll be a record.
That I would say so. That's
a big record.
I will tell you this much. That would be like a half of the entire roster if it came from the one fund, essentially.
It won't have to, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it'll come from EA Sports.
Yeah.
Who just, by the way, set a record with the number of sales.
And everybody else. And everybody else.
All right, a couple other things going on that we want to talk about. Michigan now up 14-0, as I was discussing. Actually, it was not. I don't think it was a defensive score. It was an offensive score. Let's talk a little bit more about a couple other things going on, Jerry, that we've talked about. One of the things was who would the leading receiver be this week for the Longhorns. And, you know, who are you thinking right now? That's a question from Josh Bratton. And what's interesting to me, the leading target guy in the first 3 games has been, overall the first 3 games, has been Isaiah Baum. That being said, the leading receiving yardage guy has been none other than our friend Ryan Wingo. I'm sorry, I'm just getting flustered with that. So that being said, who do you think is the leading receiver in this game for the Horns, leading rusher for this game in the Horns as well?
Leading rusher, I'll go Jarrett Gibson because why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Some people have read the chat, are probably saying Arch Manning. I'm not. I think Sark says say don't do that this week. Leading receiver yards-wise, man, he's got a lot of connection with Wingo because they've been running second team so much. But Isaiah Bond continues to get loose. I'm going to go a different direction. I'm going to go Matthew Golden this week.
Matthew Golden, that'd be a good one.
I'm going to go Matthew Golden this week. I actually think DeAndre Moore make a big play down the field in this game too. I think he's due. I think there's going to be so much attention on Bond and Wingo moving forward in this offense that Golden right now, sorry UT boy, right now, Golden and Moore are the recipients. And Gunnar Helms' emergence helps the other wide receivers. I do think UT boy Jonte gets in the end zone again this week.
Good stuff. All right, again, we're here at the tailgate, just off the LBJ line. Come join us if you. We are here until about 6:30. Then Jerry and I've got some other things we're working on. We got the in-game watch coming to you here. I'm going to try to actually do the post-game show with Rod Babers. Tony Hill will be joining us. Brian Robeson is out a little under the weather tonight. He'll be back with us on Monday morning. He's going to step in, I think. For that, we appreciate him being a part of this as well. Tony Hill's going to step in the postgame show along with Rod Babers. That will be brought to you by our friends over at Flight and the guys at Yingling, America's oldest brewer. Jerry, I'm almost at a loss for words of what's going on around campus. I came in on Thursday and hung out around campus a little bit. I was on campus yesterday afternoon. Being number one in college football evokes a different feel.
Yes.
And I don't know how to say that other than it's rare. I mean, we've only been ranked number one last time since 2008. So it happens once a generation, essentially, is what's happening, because last time Texas won a national championship in 2005. It's just really rare, and you get a sense, like you were talking about with CJ, did you feel like more people were out earlier
yes,
this week? And you said yes. And while I think Arch Manning does have something to do with that, I
agree.
I don't think there's any doubt about it. I think it's the fact that Texas is ranked number one that has got people, and the way they've become number one. You sit here and see Michigan beating USC 14-0 after USC beat LSU.
Can I add another piece to it?
Go for it.
Night games are fun because of CDC.
Yeah, no doubt.
Night games are fun. Bevo Boulevard, it's hot, but it's fun. Tailgates are fun. Then you go in and have a night game at DKR. It's awesome now. I mean, it is a show. Like, I was at Shadow Creek Tuesday and talked to Chris Stewart. And he said he didn't even know what to say about the light show and everything.
The drone
show, everything that goes on inside the stadium. He thought I was like at a rock concert or something. That's the same thing Jeff Traylor said. It's become an event as well. And when you have a really good football team and program, and it's also an event, and there's a bunch of NFL players running around, and one of them's last name Manning, and your other quarterback, Quinn, got hurt, but was leader in the Heisman. Look at the San Antonio Spurs showed up last week. I mean, think about all the people that are showing up at games in Austin. It's an event. And it's an event when your team's ranked one. It's almost taking on a Austin, state of Texas feel of what Pete Carroll had at USC years ago when Sark was the OC.
He's definitely more Pete Carroll than he is Nick Saban, by the way.
Yeah, Nick Saban wouldn't let the San Antonio Spurs on the sideline.
No, no, he would not. See over the top of them.
No.
A big play here for USC. They'll get inside the Michigan 20. They'll be in the red zone going in. Michigan and USC have run at least two Sark concepts, according to Matt Flynn. Thanks, Matt, for the super chat. A lot of people are copying Steve Sarkisian right now. Jerry, I want to say something else that I wrote yesterday, or actually wrote this morning for OnTexasFootball.com. Please consider getting a subscription, by the way, to OnTexasFootball.com if you would. I think it'll be it's really a good site right now. Not only am I contributing, but also Jerry, CJ Vogel, Blake Monroe. We're all out there trying to bring you guys the very latest. Blake broke a bunch of baseball recruiting news on Friday, by the way. But I wrote an opinion piece today that I started getting into the idea of, things I'm thinking right now about this football team. And I went through the highlights of the season. Game. It's certainly been that. Gunnar was the most surprising player of the season so far. I think of the transfers, Isaiah Bond, the best transfer. Really picked Andrew Makuba because of what he's done for the secondary.
Yeah.
But the very last thing I talked about was this. Who has been the best coach for the University of Texas this year? Okay. And I started when I originally thought of that question, I thought I was going to answer Johnny Manson. I really did, because he's brought, it's not necessarily his linebacker position per se. It's the fact that he's brought the versatility to the defensive scheme and allowed Texas to change some things up there, right? So I thought that's what I was going to, and I really sat back and thought about it, and I picked Steve Sarkisian as the coach. I mean, he's the offensive coordinator. He is the program builder, the guy that's responsible for the talent acquisition, why Texas is even able to move the ball and play the style of ball that they actually can play. And I feel right now, Jerry, that you have to look at it and think that Steve Sarkisian, he may be the best combo coach Texas has had in many ways, in that he's recruiting at almost a Mack Brown level, maybe from a depth perspective even better than Mack Brown, right? But he's more of an X's and O's guy. And I think you have to go back a long, long ways in Texas's history to find a guy that was both a great X's and O's guy and a great recruiter. For example, John Mackovic, great X's and O's guy, not a great recruiter. Had some good recruits,
right?
Don't get me wrong, but just recruiting, he was never going to be that guy. Who else at Texas has ever had both of those things that could possibly really create a Nick Saban and or a Pete Carroll type atmosphere and program at the University of Texas? That's a rare combo.
It is.
It's a rare bird that can do those two things. And I think Sark's showing he has that capacity and executing against it. I mean, he's got to go win championships now. He's not going to be better than Mac until he wins the national championship. Not going to be better than DKR until he wins 4. Yeah. But my point being, not many people can do both. And right now he's doing both at a very, very high level.
I would say this. He also helps coach the wide receivers. We didn't actually bring this up on a show. I thought Chris Jackson individually had the most important coaching job this year because he had the most new guys. I think we got to say Chris Jackson, Sark combo at wide receiver, has done an unbelievable job. And the reason I say that is prior to Quinn's injury, I was told that Quinn thought the receivers early on in the season this year, through 2 games, were on their routes and spots more than last year's. And that only happens with a total new group of wide receivers if Chris Jackson's done a great job coaching and Sark with his part. I mean, you added Bond, Golden, DeAndre Moore starting for the first time, real first game action, right? Wingo, Jonte Cook's first game action, Silas Bolden. How many combined catches did those guys have as Texas Longhorns last year? How many routes did they run? So Chris Jackson, I'm going to give him some credit for doing a great job this year. Sark, to your point, Sark also helps with that. For the open media windows we go to, he's a part of that coaching at the wide receiver position.
He absolutely is. I couldn't agree more. All right, I'd like to hear what y'all think about Sark and what he's done.
And give us your prediction scores for this.
Yeah, we're getting ready to give ours. I did mine this morning, Jerry. And let's go ahead and talk about who we predict to win. Before we do that, I want to say thanks again to our friends at Hargrove Roofing. Know who is on your roof with offices across the state of Texas as well as in Arkansas and Louisiana. Make sure you know about Hargrove Roofing, know who's on your roof, as well as Duck Camp. Our friends over there from Duck Camp, they have a special going on right now on their website. Just go to duckcamp.com. Also, later today, we're going to give away a $200 gift certificate to Duck Camp, as well as this fine hat here right in front of us, the heathered clay color. Also, thank you to Flight by Yingling, our friends there, providing the beer here free of charge at the tailgate. Thank you so much to them, as well as the Faust Distributing Company. And then also, let's talk about the other guys, Flat Creek Estate Wine Garden. Also, thank you for them as well, being one of our key sponsors, as well as South Point Dodge. All right, Jerry, look at these scores coming in. Matt, do you mind putting up all these scores?
Syracuse Horn, you and I, same wavelength.
All right, so Syracuse Horn went 48-3. Is that what you're going?
48-3.
48-3.
That means no run fit bust for a long touchdown.
All right, that makes sense. I'm going 42-6.
2 field goals or a touchdown and block extra point?
I think 2 field goals. They'll get 2 field goals. Some which way. Archer. Like here's a better over for you. How many turnovers from Arch today in his first start? Everybody thinks he's going to be perfect and hopes he's perfect, right? But really, Jerry, how many turnovers for Arch Manning today? What do you think? 4 touchdowns.
Quinn threw a TD, threw an INT against UL Monroe.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Malik Murphy threw an interception his first start. I'll say none. No, I don't know. I mean, if Texas pass protects up front, I don't know. I think Arch is going to make good decisions. That could be a tip ball or something wild. Route run wrong, something happens. But I think if the offensive line protects, I think Arch will probably have a pretty good plan for Arch.
Yeah. I looked at all the services and all this other stuff. They're like predicting Arch throws for 3.5 touchdowns. That's like the over-under or whatever, and 285 yards. Jeff Carey coming in with 1 TD or 5 TDs, 1 interceptions, 0 interceptions, 6 TDs from Edward. That's going to be something to check on. Hey, Neil, what do you think? How many TDs and interceptions for Arch Manning today? What do you think?
I think 3 TDs, no interceptions.
3 TDs, no interceptions. Our friend Neil here.
This is from a guy who drove 2,500 miles to see the Michigan game.
Yeah. Arthur goes 4 TDs. How many interceptions, Arthur? No interceptions from Arthur. All right, so we got y'all are hearing it. 1 turnover, but we win the turnover battle 2-1. That's something that I would be interested in. Oh wow, that's a prediction right there. Trey Owens for 3 passing touchdowns in the fourth quarter. I would like to see Trey Owens, if they do get him in the game, actually continue on and have some ability to throw the football. Because he is right now 1 snap away from being on that field. You do want to see Trey Owens get some real snaps, right?
Yeah. No doubt you want to see him get real snaps, and you want Sark to let him throw the football too. And I don't think the Texas running back position is healthy enough just to go run it 55 times today, right? So you're going to throw the football. My biggest question is, if Trey Owens were to throw 3 touchdowns and an interception today, would his dad get after him on Twitter?
Hey, here's a good one too. Based on your comment earlier about the $100 million decision, it had a sense of LeBron to it, right? If Buddy Powell, chief big guy, I love him. Him and Bobby Petronic, by the way, both make me laugh. If Arch does throw an interception, ESPN will do an MLB type break-in to every other game. It'll be like Aaron Judge trying to go for the home run record. Remember that when they were breaking into every game and that sort of stuff. I do think that's the sort of thing.
Jenny, bring up Jenny Burton's prediction.
Well, don't go there. We're giving her she's got to help us with the hats, man. We got to get Jenny going on the hats first.
weekend.
All right. Hey, I'm serious. I love you, Jenny. I hope you're having fun today. Dedrick H. Arch, 4 TDs, 320 yards, 2-6. Thank you very much.
So y'all never fight?
We never, ever fight. Like, it is a marriage of pure bliss.
Always in agreement?
Always in agreement. Very lucky to share the same house and bed with her. She's just a perfect person. Everything about her is awesome. Anyways,
you go.
yes, yeah. Until I do something wrong, invariably, I'm the mess up of the household. Hey guys, thank y'all so much for joining us here. We're having a lot of fun out here. I know we're just kidding around and joking and whatnot, but the Longhorns, with about 3 hours and 5 minutes away from kickoff right now, Texas expected to go 4-0 today. Are we just taking this game for granted because of how good Texas has looked? Yes.
Yes.
Because how good Texas. Jenny just said WTF. There we go. There's no shame when it comes to me. None.
We are taking. UL Monroe got 286 yards against UAB in a 32-6 win. I don't see how they move the ball against Texas if Texas plays sound defensively. If you clean up your run fits, I just don't see how they move the ball, Bobby. And that takes a toll on even a better defense than UTSA had over the course of a game. I mean, is ULM going to have any field position in this game? Can they force Texas to a long field in this game? That's the key. How UL Monroe moves the ball early in the first quarter, I think is going to be very telling, because UTSA had a little success. They had enough success that you said, okay, Texas is going to have to play really well defensively today. If UL Monroe doesn't move it early in the first quarter, I don't know.
People, we're freezing here quite often on this chat here. So, Jerry, I think that's going to do it for this afternoon here in their pregame. My final prediction again: 42-6 Longhorns. Jerry, you went 48-3. Texas. We appreciate you guys so much for joining us. Come join us here during the regular game, in-game watch with Aaron Hogan. Also, join us if you would, please, in the post-game show as well. We really appreciate everybody. Hope y'all have fun today. This is what Texas football is all about. A group of people coming together, having fun, enjoying, and what a team we have to watch right now, guys. Look at all this stuff that we got going on today. We appreciate y'all so much. Again, our sponsors, Duck Camp, Flat Creek, Handling and Flight, the guys at Hargrove. Thank you so much, as well as South Point College. For Jerry Hamilton and our producer, Matt Hutchison, I'm Bobby Burton. You guys have a good one. Hopefully Michigan beats USC, and that helps Texas continue to be a number 1 ranked team. But for now, let's watch the Longhorns at 7. Hook 'em.